You are live. 1, 2,
Right.
3. Well, welcome back to the Casually Hardcore podcast in 2 years, right? 2 years it's been?
2 years at least.
Yeah, when was the last time you were on the show?
Ooh, it was probably February of 2018, I would say. That or January, somewhere around there.
That was a long time ago, man.
I think we were talking about the release
Crazy
of Black Ops 4,
think
the
that.
Black Ops 4 teaser trailer on that date.
That's right. That's right.
How
That's
far
right.
we've
And
come.
they don't even have a trailer for this year.
No,
I know. Don't even
here
have a
we are
trailer for
talking
this
about
year at all.
the new Black Ops,
Like
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, well, Black Ops 5, right? Maybe Cold War? I don't know. That's a whole discussion for another time. So, we both watched the Go For It discussion. What was kind of your line of thought on that? Like, what was something that kind of popped out to you based on the show that Ubisoft delivered?
Well, the main thing that really stood out to me was, aside from mentioning it just after the Assassin's Creed gameplay reveal, there really wasn't much mention about next generation consoles. All they heard was the note from them talking about how they're coordinating with the companies regarding their next
Mm-hmm.
generations. But other than that, my impression was that these games could be seen on Xbox One and PS4 going forward.
Yeah, I'm curious to see like how it kind of goes cross generation. Obviously the price tags haven't been released yet, so that's going to be a big deal. And I know generation to generation, usually there's kind of a stigma like you've invested so much, you definitely don't want to, move on as quickly because you're going to lose all of your hardware, all of your software. So it was cool to kind of see. I think what every single game delivered there that's going to console was cross-platform, and then I believe it's also cross-buy. So I think if you bought on one, you get the other,
Yeah.
and vice versa. So that's definitely was really cool. I like that bit. Was definitely interesting to see how most of those games shown were things that were delayed from earlier this year.
Yep.
So you look at Legion, that was supposed to be out in March, and now that got pushed back, I believe, to October.
Was end of October. I think it was
release date?
October.
If I'm not
4th?
mistaken. And then yeah, something along those lines. Like that makes total sense. And then I believe some mobile titles were shown. Definitely showed some more DLC for other projects like Breakpoint's getting updates. Crew 2 still getting updates.
I think Brawlhalla was
Trying to think what
mentioned
else
to be
they showed
going to
updates.
mobile.
Just Dance, Trials, the usual crew, and then hardly to buy next gen just yet. And we'll kind of see like the price tags of everything to see if it's even worth doing that quite yet. And speak of just kind of going into next gen, like Far Cry 6 is probably going to be their big one going into that. Like, what was the last Far Cry game you played?
Ooh, I haven't played any of the Far Cry games yet. I've only really watched some gameplay of Far Cry 5. Otherwise, I've just been addicted to the Arkham series so far, getting caught up really.
Not a single one.
I've been so addicted to Battle Royale games. It hasn't even been the past few years. It's been Fortnite, Blackout, and then now Warzone. And just the other week, I finally just played myself out saying, I kind of want to go back to those open world adventure games. And
yeah.
I have some catching up to do for sure before October, but I think I can get through it. Working through Arkham Knight, and then I'll probably move into Far Cry after that.
Sure.
Yeah. Otherwise, I also need to get through Fallen Order too. I have a list of games.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, 3 is on sale. Yeah, Fallen Order or something. So, like, I didn't get stuck on. I just kind of stopped playing it, so I gotta get back into that. Yeah, but Far Cry Blood Dragon's really good. Primal I haven't played, but heard that's good. Haven't played the New Dawn spinoff, so there's definitely a ton. There's obviously 2 and 1, Classic and 2. Haven't tried those titles either, but I think they're very much more of your generic shooter. But I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Have you played any of the Watch Dogs games at all?
I haven't played any of them, so if I'm going, if I'm going into this new one, I'm going in completely blind, and I'm okay with that because just from the gameplay I watched yesterday, it looks really great. Just with going around London, recruiting as many different people to the resistance as possible. That whole thing just looks amazing.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think the standpoint of, I don't think you need to have played any of the others to really understand what it's about. I mean, obviously, there'll probably be some backstory and some Easter eggs to it, but it'll definitely be kind of cool to see like how those kind of play into it. But I believe from like a brand new perspective, shouldn't be any issue. You can just kind of grab and kind of just be, and then that's your person. And you add to the shop or you add to the crew. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Definitely.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, they also show off a lot of things, and then it never really ends up being what it actually is. And Watch Dogs is notorious for that. I think their transition demo was for the first Watch Dogs when it first came out, and it looked phenomenal. And then when the game actually came out, it looked terrible. It was really bad. I think it was one of the first cross-gen games because it came out like on the Wii U, 360, PS3. I mean, everything at the time. I think it's a rare copy for the Wii U. Actually, I think it was one of those things they promised and didn't come out till later. So, and then Colin, I think you're having some feedback on your mic, man.
I think I have a bit of a delay.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, I think a little bit of feedback there, but no worries. But yeah, it's definitely cool. I played the first one, not the second one. But if you're into kind of like a hacker or kind of open world type deal, it's really fun. It's really cool. Definitely recommend it.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
sorry.
What? Oh no, go ahead. Like, of all the stuff that you saw, like, what was kind of something that jumped to you the most? Like, was the most exciting thing that kind of like grabbed your attention throughout the entire show?
I would have to say Assassin's Creed. Just the way I really haven't played any Assassin's Creed either. I'm really back ordered on video games, but just watching the Assassin's Creed trailer where they just get so realistic with how historically accurate they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were talking about how they actually went over to the Scandinavian countries in Europe to get a good idea of how Vikings actually lived. So if they can replicate that in a video game about Vikings, I'm all there for it.
Mm-hmm.
And just watching the games of where you're going around taking out Anglo-Saxons, I'm really excited for that one. And that one was probably my favorite part of that entire stream for sure.
No, yeah, it looks really cool. Like the fact that you can do rap battles apparently is something that's like a feature,
Really?
and you can also recruit a cat. So I mean, the more you know. Yeah. So the more you know on that note. But less positive. What was something that to you was not as appealing, or wasn't that something as exciting as you thought it would be?
I mean, at this point, video game companies have really milked the battle royale concept dry, and when you see, I can't remember what's the game that the battle royale hyperspace.
Hyperscape.
I think Hyperscape. I mean, I saw that and it's interesting, but at this point, I think battle royale is, I won't say dying, but it's just kind of has enough. There's enough popular games out there where I think trying to add another one might be difficult to just have original content for.
Mm-hmm.
So that one just kind of that was kind of underwhelming for me, at least.
Yeah. No, I get that. I think I texted you that as soon as I saw that. It was just there's a lot, and it's definitely kind of a bummer to really kind of spend your time across all of them because there's so many things going on, but there's not enough time to do them all. Because then you have multiple. You have PUBG, you have Fortnite, you have Warzone,
Apex,
Blackout technically still too if you're going old school. Mobile COD, and then you have Hyperscape. And then you have all the free-to-play ones, too, like Paladin.
Apex.
Or Apex, yeah. I'm trying to think. There's probably more that I'm missing. Or Battlefield had one, too. I think it was a premium one, like Firestorm.
Oh, yeah, they had it on Battlefield 5, but...
Right. And it might be dead. I'm not sure.
Yeah, people just...
Yeah, it's a bummer too. That would have been a really cool one, I would imagine.
For sure.
But yeah, to your point, it's just all of them have battle passes. All of them are a grind. None of them are really easy to kind of really drop in, drop out. Um, yeah, it's kind of sad to say it's getting really saturated, especially when you go back to earlier when everybody's like, dude, Battle Royale, I want this. And there was no way to play it on console. And now it's everywhere.
Exactly.
And to your point, like I don't really understand like what the gimmick for them was besides it's like, hey, it's faster, which is like cool, I guess. It gets you to be more
Warzone
aggressive.
is pretty much a monopoly on fast-paced
I
battle
agree.
royales at this point.
I totally agree. And it's very fast paced, and you could either play your different play style too. I mean, you could be really aggressive, you could be really slow. I'm really not a fan of the people that are slow. I really distaste that. I have just a huge distaste for people like that. But yeah, that was definitely a bummer. And I was definitely, I know, to add on to that, was bummed that a lot of the stuff that we saw we knew about or was leaked. Besides the mobile titles, and I'm not really into mobile at all. Far Cry 6 got leaked. Legion was announced years ago. Valhalla was announced, and leaked back in like April.
It was really recent.
Yeah. So, and we already had the showcase in April. I think Xbox did one, where they saw it, and it was cool. But there was nothing new there besides some extra gameplay, and that gameplay got leaked. So, watching through it, one of the taglines they had was "and new surprises," and it's like I didn't attribute Brawlhalla going to mobile and like the Galaxy of Heroes clone as like there be more, and then the last announcement too, they're like, hey, we're gonna do another one later in the year. It's like,
okay,
cool, yeah, woohoo, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It was definitely kind of a meh to me.
they're
To your
trying
point.
sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, and they're trying to draw people in with like having lore added to it. It's like that whole they had that whole like sequence, and like right now, I don't think anybody can touch Apex or Fortnite in terms of having like a better or more attractive story at this point. Because like I've talked to a bunch of people that are grinding Apex, and they said that the current live events that are happening right now and how they're trying to tie in Titanfall is just it has them all just locked in on there.
Right, it keeps them sucked into their ecosystem, which in turn makes them more money, gives them a bigger player base, and then you have more people playing. You're more inclined to buy a skin, and it's just
and it's harder to pull them away from it.
Exactly. So I've never really looked at Battle Royale for its story, to be quite honest. I think it's a cool addition, and for those who really love it, cool for them. But to me, it's like it's a massive player base arena. That's all I care for. Everything else is just extra fluff that's cool. But I don't know. We'll see how it works. I think it's only in PC right now. I don't know if it's going to come. I'm sure it'll come to consoles at some point. It might be like the Battle Royale that launches with next gen is like it's marketing fluff. That's what I would do if I was internally doing that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I was really hoping for more. Ubisoft usually drops some pretty cool announcements every year. So definitely disappointed. I don't know. What would you rate the show over? Like on a scale 1 to 10, what would you kind of give it?
It went really fast, and I feel like there really wasn't much there that we didn't know about. We just got to see some of the in-game footage. So, I mean, given that the games do look amazing in terms of graphics and content, and as far as Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs go, I think that gets it at least 7.5. But just again, it was really short and nothing too crazy at that point. At this point, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you gave it a 7.5. That's more. It's more generous than me.
The games look great. I feel like they carried it,
5 to a 7. But I don't know. I'm a little bit harsher. And speaking of that, this new wave of way conferences go around and how information is delivered, it's totally different from years past where you can have that traditional trade show in the beginning, and that's it. Now it's bits of information sprinkled out throughout the summer, and we're essentially in the middle of July. I think we've kind of gotten a good grasp of how this is going to tail out for the rest of the summer. Do you miss E3? Would you like to go back to the more like here's 3 days plus couple other days before and after where you get all your information at once, and then you can kind of unpack it as you go along. Storytelling approach where you kind of get little bits here and there. So, I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Would you go back traditional, or would you like this new kind of wave of information?
I would definitely go back to traditional because it's a lot more interactive when you have somebody presenting on a stage. Because you can have the trailers play, but when they're going through the gameplay, you can have a lot more narration from having like a panel of the produce. You can have like the lead producers that they'll sometimes have. Like Call of Duty does this. They'll have. I still remember the Sledgehammer launch for the World War II trailer. They had all of their leadership up there, constantly walking through all the different parts of the game on stage, and I think that gives it a lot more interaction as far as the presentation, and overall just reaches the fans a lot better.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I definitely miss the more old school style way of doing things, and I definitely miss the. Well, I'm hearing some feedback again, man. You unplug your mic and plug it back in. There you go. I think that's better. Perfect.
How we doing?
That's better. That's good. But yeah, no, I totally agree. I think the idea of all at once, bigger trade show, bigger productions, bigger shows, it's just more fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's more
you
exciting.
get a lot more like fan feedback too.
And it's also way more condensed. So you have a lot more time to really kind of, I guess you can set aside time to, hey, I got this 1 weekend, Friday to Monday, or I think Tuesday, really. But, and then you go. Oh, it's perfect. I know, like working more in July, and then kind of like go forward, where they show new trailers or a new gameplay or new features. I think those are really cool and a cool way to connect. All in all, that was cool. It was their first show with it. Thought I was up it all up, and because we're getting close to time here, what it was, something that of all the things you saw showcase, what is you probably go and get this year if you could?
I would have to say for sure Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I really haven't played many of the Assassin's Creed games, but I feel like the whole Viking concept has really drawn me in, and I'm really excited for that one. So definitely Assassin's Creed.
And that's no Minnesota Viking bias, right?
Yes. I'd be lying if I said that. No. I thought about it, just saying no. I'm not going to be a C audience on the first day back.
Well, cool, man. I have to be in the same boat as that too. I'm a big Assassin's Creed guy, so anytime you get to see more cool stuff, it's fun. So, with that note, we're kind of getting close to that 20-minute mark here, trying to keep these segments a little shorter. It was cool to kind of have our first episode back. Well, not even an episode, just more of a discussion, more of like a discussion topic with the live, checking out StreamYard, and just kind of getting integrated back into the rhythm of things. It's been quite some time since content's dropped, so we'll figure it out as we go along, get better at it, but definitely fun to have you on, Cullin. Appreciate it. Any final closing notes at all? Anything final to say? It's
been a weird summer and a weird spring, or weird just year overall, and definitely a lot of more content to come, so we'll be here for it.
We'll get better every week, and hopefully to have more people back on. I know Eric is coming back, but due to some work scheduling, it's going to be a little conflicting. But once I'll be back in Minnesota too, we can figure out different things here and there. But these quick little short live discussions can easily come out and produce more content. So I try to be more reactive too. I know more stuff comes out, and this was a couple days delayed, but definitely fun, man, to have you on. It's cool to kind of get this started again. And until next time, this is Nick signing out.
That was Cullin. Thanks for having me, Nick.
Of course. And until next time, chat later. Love it. That was good. I'm ending broadcast now, but I don't know.